Okay, this is one of those 0.5s where we started off talking about straps and we ended up talking about Seiko and Grand Seiko. What this short one we did right now, we started talking about Seiko and how they're perceived in the market, about the effect of Grand Seiko and so on. So that's been quite fun. So doing that on this effectively kind of a half session was Leonard of Horology Matters, Cap Maceda Aguila, who is a good friend, journalist, and sends me cookies. So he's on my good side. And I'm Carl. So we are going to go into basically Seiko and Grand Seiko and the GPHG, which is the Grand Prix or Logerie de Genève. If I pronounced that incorrectly, I'm apologizing. But we talked about how important they are and how about how people like Seiko and Grand Seiko feel when they are nominated for these watches. We don't know who won yet. I'm an Academy member of that, so I actually have to vote within the next week, and then we will bring you the results as we go. But that's what happens when we all get together. We just kind of talk about random things. So here we go with that.
Actually, Seiko made the limited edition exclusive to Philippines because before it was Thailand, right? Even up to now, they're making limited editions for Thailand. It goes to show that a lot of, doing a limited stuff for a certain country, it translates to, many people are fond of Seiko watch.
Yeah. So these are the Zimbas.
Yeah. They had
these are all just the Thai Zimbas. There's 13 of them now, right? They just released. This is 12. They just released the 13th one.
Right. Because I think Thailand is number one. I think when it comes to
insane
market share of Seiko.
It's insane. It actually, a lot of really, really big collectors. Really, but they're across the board. They're not even just expensive. They're like, it's a great market.
So if you're talking about ASEAN, these are the Thais are the biggest watch, aficionado. ASEAN at least.
Okay, maybe. I don't know how to quantify that. I have no data, so I can't really say. But in terms of they have their own special editions. They have a lot of them.
It's 14 already. 14 Zimbe. So
the 14.
The fact that they do something limited for them, it means their market share is big worldwide.
Yeah. And this one, the Tubbataha has 1,000 pieces. It's just a nice one. It's actually, when you looked at it, I'm not a big monster fan, but it really grabbed me right away, regardless of the whole Tubbataha thing. I liked it a lot. So
especially if it's the first Philippine edition. So
and if it is, I was like that alone.
I was going to ask that. Yeah. How important is it that we have, or how significant is it, Carl, that we have our own now?
Extremely.
Finally, it's just huge. Especially getting recognition.
If it's full on, we're gonna shoot the watch next week, so I'll tell you then what I feel about it more. But but I've ordered my own, right? So as many of us have. So it's very significant because prior to this, if you see a lot of special editions off of, let's say for organizations and clubs and so on, what tends to happen is they can't make a full run, so they have to get dials done by someone else, or they make special arrangements. But this one, which looks like a full-on Seiko supported product, Seiko Japan supported product, which I know Seiko Japan has been looking into. This is a great big deal. This is a huge deal. It's very, very nice that they tied it to Tubbataha because it's really a key point. I thought they were gonna tie it to Cebu or something, but no, it's extremely. Basically, the answer is extremely significant, and I hope people realize that. The Seiko industry, the Seiko market in the Philippines is still, part of them think it's just Seiko. The other part understand how collectible they really are. And as an example, we did a Grand Seiko meetup. Well, Grand Seiko and Vintage Seiko meetup in the Porsche Cafe, basically. And so we come in with a huge amount of really, really collectible Seikos and Grand Seikos and vintage Seikos, some priceless stuff. These are people who, I said, the security guard went to his boss who owns the place, and he said, "Sir, why are you allowing Seiko? We have Lamborghini, Bentley, Porsche. Why Seiko? What's so important?" And they said, and the owner said, "No, this is Grand Seiko. It's a big difference, and these are vintage. So you have this wide range." And I think that's what Seiko is as a brand. Why are we talking Seiko right now? But anyway, okay. This is what I think Seiko is as a brand. They want to be the right product for the right person across all levels. So there. The toughest people I know in the world wear Seikos.
Right. It's underrated for some.
So
it's underrated. It's an underrated brand for actually before, but now it's much more appreciated. I think.
Yeah. It wasn't in a lot of markets for a while. The U.S. market, it wasn't in the U.S. market for a long time, and that's why it got kind of under the radar for a lot of people. But I talked with some people I know in the U.S. Navy SEALs, and one of them, by the way, creates his own watch. Okay, actually, a couple of them. It's called Resco. Okay, that's an active Navy SEAL who created that watch, and so I talked with him, and I said, "So are you a watch guy?" He goes, "Yeah, I am. I'm a huge watch guy. Like, so what watches did you know? And what watches did you really use on missions, right?" And he goes like, "We'd have G-Shocks primarily. We have some." Then I said, were you familiar with Seikos?" Like, "Yeah, we love Seikos, but they were available to us. But in general, they weren't. We love Seiko." And at the time, JLC released a SEAL watch. And he goes like, "I'd love that watch, but I can't afford it, and I would never use it on an operation." So, and there was interesting. There was one brand that I said, there's this watch brand that's tied. It keeps talking about it being tied to U.S. Navy SEALs. And I said, "Was it?" And he goes like, "Well, we tested it." And I said, "And?" He said, "We threw it overboard." So.
Ouch.
Basically. Anyway, so there. Seiko is it's interesting because if you look at old school buyers, it's a very much a tool watch. It's an extremely tough watch. It's a very accessible entry point, but at the same time, you're looking at Grand Seikos, which are insanely well produced. Right. So they're well finished. There's a massive collector base for those as well. So the most beautiful watches I know are Grand Seikos.
Mm-hmm. I think the misconception, or probably the wrong perception, like of the guard that you were talking about at Porsche. I think it's because people tend to be confused because of all these price points that Seiko now covers. Because you have your entry point Seikos to your Grand Seikos, the most expensive of Grand Seikos. So. It's not like other brands where they have a fixed or fixed market point or price points. I think no one covers it like Seiko does, and I think for some that's really very confusing. At least from someone like coming from the outside or looking from the outside.
Well, that's why they're separating branding. Okay, for example, Grand Seiko is its own brand now. So it separates it. The next one that will probably be bounced out, the one they're focusing on now is Prospects. So this year it was all Prospects. And there are a lot of brands within the Seiko family that some people don't even realize are there. Presage was internal to Japan only for a long time. Creedor, excellent. Some of them have different aesthetics that I don't understand. I don't get. Some of them are awesome. They have this awesome manual Creedor that's just gorgeous, and that's just the way that Seiko chooses to work. And it's really interesting that it's also the way Toyota works. Toyota as a brand said, we want to produce good products for everyone across the board, and they want to be a good value for everyone. And Seiko, in a lot of ways, is the same way. They want to be able to produce for everyone, that something that they find the value in. And you got to remember that Seiko is a manufacturer. This is something the Swiss worked very hard at. In reality, Japan, this is what they were from day one. They built everything. They didn't spend winters building this watch part and their neighbor building another watch part like they did in Switzerland. these guys all build their stuff all, at least Seiko does, all manufacturer, all in-house. Grand Seiko's new studio, which I was supposed to be at, like now, is awesome. It's got this beautiful view of Mount Iwate, and that's what you look at when you're designing the watches.
Are they open for visitors there?
They're about to be. If they're not now, they're about to be. It's beautiful. They showed me photos of the clean room. They have the most cool looking clean room. It's all wood. It's super cool. It's really, really nice. I'm supposed to be there actually. And they've got stuff that's going in the GPHG, which is again where I'm supposed to be. Sorry?
You're one of the panels for it.
Yeah. So I'm actually supposed to be. Ideally, I'd be going there already, which I can't. And they very safely decided that they're not going to call the judges in because it's not safe. But yeah, and then the awarding is later in November, which I was kind of hoping I would make, but it doesn't look like I'm going to make.
Digital awarding thing, or
well, they're going to have a physical one, but it will only be for the people in Switzerland or the people who commit to
If you're going to
quarantines. Yeah, I'm supposed to vote within the next week for the final. For the it's been a tiered system. It's been a tiered system where I made some suggestions. Everybody made suggestions as to what they think should go in. And it's not as cut as dried as people think, because some of the ones that I suggested made it. Some of the ones that I suggested did not make it. It's very different. And then we had it gets winnowed down. So right now, if you go online to the GPHG, you're going to see that there are, for each category, there are 6 watches, and that's already well, it's not the final list yet. I think it's like the semifinal, whatever, before the nominees. So then you're going to get we have to go and vote on each 6 now. Okay, and then from there will be, I believe, one more set. And this is all completely. The Academy does not see the votes. Okay, they are all tallied by an independent Swiss auditor, so they don't know, and they cannot affect the outcome. So it's quite interesting.
So you're gonna vote for every category, or
yes. So we shall see what happens. I've got some favorites.
Congrats on making it in the.
I think. Thank you. That was fun. They had invited me before to attend, but I never got a chance to. And then they invited me to be an Academy member, and I was just blown away. I was seriously just blown away. It's something I had wanted, but I was like, I can't apply, and I don't think I would apply because it's just not something I would be comfortable with doing. But it's really cool. It's really nice, and I know the people that are involved in it, and I have the hugest amount of respect for them. So
you know what?
Really
I noticed if one watch like the Grand Seiko SBG J005, the Mount Iwate, it won the 2014 GPHG.
Yeah.
The value just went up.
Yeah, it does. It really does. It's a big deal. If you look at the watches, I mean, go onto the website and check it out. You look at the watches that are there, and there's a wide range. So they're really, and they have a really good. Because you're going to have insanely expensive watches, but you're also going to have some smaller levels, which are like below 5,000 euro, below X euro. And there's an area that smartwatches can go into. So they're trying to develop, I guess, the appreciation of craftsmanship and artistry, and that's a good thing. And they're open. I mean, there's several Japanese, there's several independents, there are several Asian watches, and I know them, and they're good. They're not this junk stuff. They're really good. Corona Tokyo, excellent. Ming watch, excellent. These are all guys. And it's a fair shot. Everyone's got a fair shot. So, yeah. Okay, so that has been our short talk on Seiko and Grand Seiko and their importance in our market, on the fact that people don't really understand how important they are, how wide they are. Some people think of them as this very, very value-oriented watch. Some people think of them as these amazingly collectible watches that go head-to-head with Oyster Perpetuals, and they both have a point. We love them. We enjoy them. We really, really like the fact that we have the Seiko Tubbataha Edition coming out, that we have nothing to do with that. That's purely a Grand Seiko Philippines program. It's excellent. We love it. We're going to show it to you. We're going to shoot it maybe tomorrow, actually, and we'll get it to you as quickly as we possibly can. It's an excellent watch, as far as we know. We'll tell you tomorrow. But thank you very much for that. We also talked about the Grand Prix Horlogerie de Genève, which will be giving its final awards for the Golden Hand in November. We are part of that, and we will try and bring you along in the process of what we did, how we chose the watches, how we voted, which is odd because we can't go to Switzerland right now. So some watches are being sent to me, which I can't talk about, and some are already on the market, which I can talk about, or at least available to people. But anyway, there. So thank you very much. This has been Leonard of Horology Matters. This has been Cap Maceda Aguila, who was a good friend sometimes, and it has been Carl. Oh, don't do the whole thing, dude. You just ruined it. I was trying to build you up, and now he's a big just K-pop guy. So from now on, it's Cap K-pop. So there. I'm going to change the name next time. I'm warning you. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. Join us for the next one, which will be funner than this, or funnest, as people say now. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.